like to get to come back and do a Raven you haven't done for a while? What was it like to get to do that again?
We all have a real special place in our hearts for the OG version. So to get to reignite that flame and bring the boat back to life is very meaningful for all of us for so many reasons. And it's like riding a bike. You slip it into those shoes. It's deep for us. It has 19 years of memories. We all grew up together. I mean, when we started this show, most of us were single. And we've been through marriages, divorces, kids, death of parents, So it's no joke, the bond that we share, and we genuinely love each other a lot.
So, my other question is, what are your thoughts about what they're doing with Raven lately? Like a Raven comic recently called Teen Titans Raven looked like her as a teenager and like her relationship with Trigon, and then they've had on Titans where you just kind of a younger Raven again, just get an idea of her powers, get the feel of her powers, how dangerous they can really be, and a new iteration of her. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I love all the versions of her so much, all of them. And I really love when fans say, now when I read the comics, I hear your voice. It's really cool to be identified as her. And I can find things that are very authentic and likable about every single version. And certainly in this movie, we get to see ones that you never would have conceptualized. So it's fun to sort of see them all come to life in this movie.
What was the discovery like, the realization that once Raven takes off her cloak, she has lovely legs and she can become Lady Legasus?
I mean, I think it's deep. Man. It's really important to I think it's silly and fun, and it's so the antithesis of who she is, which is why it's so funny. And a lot of people tell me that's their favorite episode, so I had a lot of fun doing that.
Some of your favorite memories from watching the series?
I would have to say the camaraderie for sure. Like I said, we all genuinely love each other, and we had incredible guest stars. I can't even list the amazing level of talent that we had coming into that show, and the stakes were always so high. We would be going on these emotional journeys with these characters. It wouldn't be unusual to see us crying or moving around within the parameters of the microphone and really feeling these moments. It was a pretty powerful show, which is why there's still so many great fans from the original, and I think fans of the original are going to be really happy with this movie because it looks beautiful, they're drawn authentic, they're true to form, and the stakes are very high, the danger's very real, the enemies are scary. And then the fans of the new one won't be disappointed because it's funny. So it's like the perfect dichotomy for everybody to come together and be satisfied. And I think fans of the new who've never seen the old will suddenly be, interested in maybe catching up and watching the old version.
Do you remember the order you recorded your Raven parts?
The order for this movie?
Yeah.
Like what line went first?
Like, Hynden said something that she got to play both characters at the same time, like talking to each other.
Uh-huh.
Do you record Go Raven and OG Raven separately, or
I think we did them back to back, and it was differentiated in the script. Like it would say Go Raven or OG Raven, so the power.
So you're a veteran voice actor. You've been in this game before. One of the things you've done so many iconic roles. Is this the first time you are contending with a past performance for yourself in terms of the work that you're doing? Raven from 2003 is different from Raven from 2019. Is this the first time you've experienced like that?
Yeah, I can't think of any other show that's had this dynamic, where it was such a huge success, such a fan favorite for OG, and everyone's been begging for season 6. We want it just as much as they do. And then this new version, which initially people didn't want because it wasn't season 6, and got a lot of hate for online, and then came on board because they realized, well, it's a different show and it's funny, so I'm in. And I don't think there's ever been a show, I think I'm right about this, that has had that experience, where it was so successful here and then so successful here. So to bring them together is a real gift that I don't think has ever been duplicated. I don't see how that could be.
Have you ever played a character longer than Raven? I think you've played her longer than Harley Quinn, right?
Maybe Batgirl. I think Batgirl was first, and so to play her now on DC Superhero Girls, every time I see Batgirl in a script, I get excited. The young Tara that moved to Hollywood, sitting in between Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy, was pinching herself every day, so it takes me back.
Is Batgirl in this movie?
No.
So how did you approach the relationship between the two Ravens from Go and the original series?
It's so different. It's so different. But, you know, we do the original recordings. I think there were about 5 or 6 sessions. And then we do the ADR sessions, so you get to see visually how it's going to be to fix little things here and there. And there are moments that were so beautiful between the two of them that I took my phone. I'm like, I'm not putting this on the internet. But I just screenshot the two of them together because they're meaningful, they're touching. And when they first meet up, it's a little bit weird, but they innately know that they're part of each other.
Yeah.
And that translates throughout the film. It's really beautiful. I want it on a t-shirt.
Do you think deep down Raven is deeply enamored and in love with Beast Boy, or you think they're just friends?
It's really none of your business. I mean, BB Ray's a thing, for sure. And it's fun when it gets explored. And Greg and I love each other a lot. We all love each other so much. That's why it translates when you watch the show. There's such genuine love for each other.
If I could be so bold, what after different versions of Raven and the original Raven, what does the character of Raven mean to you?
That's a very bold question. She is me. I mean, when we create a character, we put so much of ourselves into them, which is why if you ask an actor, oh, was it hurtful when they replaced you with some big on-camera celebrity? Of course. If we said no, we'd be lying. We wouldn't be putting our essence into these characters. And she means so much to me. She's so important to me. She's someone that kickstarted a big part of my career. When I come to Comic-Cons and I see girls, boys, people of all color dressed as Raven, it's so important. It's one of the biggest, I think it is the biggest cosplay female superhero character. And when you meet these people and you say, Raven saved my life, Raven got me through my parents' divorce or this depression. I met a girl about a year ago and she was talking my ear off and her mom was bawling and I went to check on her and she said my daughter's severely autistic. She relates to Raven. She hasn't spoken in 5 years and when she heard you were coming, she didn't shut up. I take that very seriously and she's a huge, huge part of me. Yes, I did White Raven and regular Raven. White Raven's on my highlights on my Instagram if you want to go check it out.
Now, one question is, where would you like to see Raven go next? Because there are definitely a lot of changes happening with the character. They're going in different directions. Where would you like this person to see that character go next?
I think we really need, and I think the fans need, season 6. And I think they can coexist at the same time as proven by this film. And we all want to, too. I think the Trigon Slade thing needs to be closed, pretty package, or not a package, pretty package. But put that chapter away and then see where she evolves to next. If she can finally put those demons behind her, who does she become? If that weight is lifted off of Slade and Trigon and her legacy, who does she become? And then what could happen to her, like in this movie, her crystal breaks and she has to battle her inner demons. So I think there's a lot for her to explore and I'd like to be a part of that for sure.
Because even in Justice League, I mean, Teen Titans June's contract, like you could tell like her and Damian almost kind of like connected in a way, which is kind of interesting.
I don't know that at all, but that's an interesting thing.
I think that happened in there, like, because like Damian was like, usually that or Justice League versus Teen Titans, where he's like, you know, I don't like, Batman's like, you're gonna be in the Teen Titans, he's like, I don't want it, and then like Raven and him kind of connect a little bit. He goes, all right, I guess I'll try it out.
All right.
Cut it.
Thanks,
Thank you
everybody.
very much.
Thank you, everybody.